Hey everybody, Steve here for Who Took My Dice Miniature War Gaming, and welcome to my latest sort of channel update, sort of news coverage, hobby, coolness. A whole bunch of stuff's going on right now. Some big stuff's been announced. I'm working on finishing up a base for some terrain I'm working on, so I'm gonna do that at the same time. So it has been a topsy-turvy couple months for me. Last week I did something on it's probably last month at this point now. I did some stuff, put up a video about some terrain competition I was doing, and that was a lot of fun. This was supposed to be for that, but because of my sickness, because excuse me, Papa Nurgle thought it'd be cool to give me a cold. I just haven't had the time. Plus, I'm trying to do stuff around the house, get it set up, get renos done, you know, real life stuff. I'm actually just mixed up some sand with some black paint just to kind of give this a coat. Lots of fun. But there are lots and lots of news has dropped over the last little while. Lots of cool stuff. Obviously, we have the Faith and Fury stuff coming out. That's going to give us a bunch of new rules for Black Templars, a bunch of Chaos stuff. The Sisters have obviously a big deal right now with some absolutely fantastic models coming out. Lots of cool rules for them. I particularly like the Miracle Dice. The fact that you can actually you gain your ability to use your faith through actions, both good and bad, on the battlefield as they happen, which is nice. Their faith points look pretty cool. The models, again, fantastic. Those even the mainline Battle Sisters look phenomenal. Just so much detail. It's great. The stuff they can do with models now is fantastic. Really cool news if you're a Black Templars fan. Obviously, they're getting their bit of an update to all their characters, Helbrecht, the Emperor's Champion, and of course Grimaldus and the Crusader squads. That's it. They've been pretty cool too. I can't wait to use them. And some of those new rules, all combined together, are going to be rather nasty. I think it's going to be pretty gross when those guys. And it's cool to see them lean towards melee, whatever you want to call it, combat now. Some of these new chapter rules and warlord traits and even stratagems. Shock and awe is fantastic. Being able to charge out of a Land Raider Crusader and be basically immune to Overwatch. So take that, Tau. It's on you. But also, if you take like a squad of Terminators with Thunderhammers and bug floating around. Where do you come from? Thunderhammers and Storm Shields charging out. You can't Overwatch them. You can't. They're gonna come out, and thanks to some of those rules, 6s to hit, auto wound. Well, wow, D3 damage per. I think it's D3 or 3 damage per hit. Extra attacks. It's gonna be just disgusting. It's going to be really nasty, and I'm really happy. I have a couple Crusader squads upstairs just waiting to be dust off. I can't wait for this to come out. It's going to be cool. The only downside, something that kind of bothers me about this, is that we just had a Space Marine Codex come out. We had a whole bunch of supplements come out. Well, now we're going to have even more Space Marine rules in this Faith and Fury. That, in my opinion, could have gone in the Space Marine Codex. I get that they want to have cool stuff out there for each book, but I mean, the Black Templars could have been their own supplement. They could have been in with the Imperial Fists. Why not? Just call it the Sons of Dorn or something. The Crimson Fists are in there. But yeah, it's the bloat. The bloat continues. We're now. If I want to play Black Templars, I need these two books. Heck, if I want to play an Ultramarines army using a bunch of the Ultramarines tactics and stratagems, and say I want to do Corpus Helix, the ultimate apothecary, the top apothecary for the Ultramarines, which you can do now with Faith and Fear. They have all these special rules to kind of make your chaplain, apothecary, whatever, like the top of the line, right? I'm going to need 3 books now. I'm going to need the Space Marine Codex, the Ultramarine Supplement, and this. 3 books to carry around to play one army. The bloat is getting to me, in my opinion, and I've seen it before. The bloat's been around before. I've seen it happen before, but it's getting to a point where, one, it's not cost effective anymore. Buying 3 books to play one army fully, if you want to play it like right up there and have a cool character, it's a bit much. Even 2 books to play one army is a bit much. And cost wise, these books are expensive, right? I mean, they're getting to the point where people are going to get. I'm almost there, where it's getting to the point where I'm going to be basically costed out of this. I won't be able to afford the hobby anymore in terms of getting brand new stuff. I mean, I'll pick up a codex here and there, but if I'm having to pick up 3 books, I'm not going to be picking up any models. I'll be using what I already have, and even then, right now, I still. I mean, if I want to play, Games Workshop stores or play, in tournaments or something official, I have to rebase all my tactical squads still, except for one that I built recently. I mean, my Crusader squad's going to be rebased, and so does my Chaplain and my Emperor's Champion, but, I mean, I don't know if I actually want to do that. But who knows? It's kind of hard to say. Well, that's my griping now. That's me being a bit salty. What else are we looking at? What else? Oh, yes. We looked at, just give me a second. We looked at things, let's see what else dropped. Oh, yes. Warhammer the Old World. This is a big bunch of news that came out. Nice little trailer. Basically, everything goes around again, including square bases. It looks like they are coming out at some point. Years, maybe. I don't know. The trailer says not soon, like a while. We're talking years, it said. From everything I've read and all the rumors, it looks like it's going to be, it could be basically Horus Heresy, but for Age of Sigmar. So you're going to be able to fight all these big historical battles from the world that was before everything got blowed up by Archaon, and that's cool. I mean, it does offer some cool stuff. We could be looking at Bretonnians and Tomb Kings coming back. The von Karsteins could rear their vampiric heads again. We could, there's a whole bunch of different stuff. It's a weird, I don't know. I think this is something that probably should have happened a while ago. I can't speak for all of the Warhammer community, but I do know when I was working in Games Workshop, there were a lot of long-time fantasy fans that, one, didn't like the edition for the 8th edition. I think that was 8th edition. They didn't like it. They thought it was too much of a change, which it may have been, but change is necessary or things were stagnant, right? But they'd already started, Games Workshop, in essence, had already started alienating a fan base, although fantasy wasn't selling that well, maybe because no one liked 8th. But Age of Sigmar came out. Obviously, it was the end time stuff, which either people loved or hated. I thought was pretty cool, though I'm not a huge fantasy player, so I'm a little unbiased, I guess, towards it. I didn't really maybe see the full problem that other people did, if there was one. But when Age of Sigmar came out, I know there was a lot of fantasy fans that I'm done. Now, that was offset by the fact that so many people got an Age of Sigmar. It's cool. It was fresh. It was a take on something that had been there for a while. I mean, I was surprised that Games Workshop even went for an end times, because it had been there forever. It had been there for the longest time. It's the end times. Well, it finally was, and everything went boom. It'd be cool to see square bases. But yeah, it's hard because when you alienate that many people and then years later you come back and go, hey, bases are back, square bases. There's probably a lot of people who've already ripped off all their square bases to put their models on. Round bases now going, seriously? I just ripped them off and now I don't have to. I mean, we don't know what's coming for this game. It could be, I mean, these are just my theories. It could be brand new models. Something like with Horus Heresy, they would come up with brand new models for Space Marines, cool characters, other armies that had been mentioned but never seen before. All your all those robot armies that are out there. Let you come up with new demon things, new characters. Obviously, new vehicles, new dreadnoughts, because you're looking at a time when technology was still understood by the Imperium. But yeah, I mean, this is, we don't know what they're coming out. They could come out with brand new armies, new versions. Obviously, there's gonna be new rule book, new army books. I mean, you could bring in your old armies, or they could go, here's brand new models. We could see, obviously, all those old, say, for instance, high elves. I still have a ton of old high elves on square bases I haven't painted up. The old archers, well, we could see brand new versions of them. We could see multi-part kits where you can make lots of different things. It's going to be, and is it going to be sort of like the way the Horus Heresy is, where it's using the old style rules as opposed to 40k, which moved to the newer stuff? It could be harkened back to the 7th edition or beforehand. What type of starter set will we get? Right? What two armies they think are best going to represent people getting back into it? Do they just take the free people or the Cities of Sigmar models now, the men, and throw them in and say orcs, right? But instead of being on square bases, will we see the return of old units? Will we see the return of old characters, especially? So basically, you're playing historical battles in the old world. It's hard to say. I don't know. Lots of questions and not very many answers at the moment. I'm hoping that we get to see a bit more soon. I don't know. They said it was going to be years. Now they could just be playing. Could be taking a while. This could be like, hey guys, listen, there's something really big coming. I mean, they mentioned Sisters a year ago plus, and we're finally getting them. So it's kind of, it'll be funny to see where it ends up. It'll be cool. Hopefully, it's something that they can sort of reconnect with those old fantasy gamers. Obviously, we've seen things like Kings of War has been very popular. People taking their old fantasy models and moving over that. So Games Workshop's sort of like, hey, that's sort of that was our place. So we maybe want our to dip our feet back into it. It's hard to say. Just waiting for this to dry up a bit so I can put a bit more of this sandy, gravelly black paint on it. Trying to build up here. I've got so this looks weird. No, it's a base with an old super glue container in it, and that's going to actually be glued to this big baby here, which I'm still kind of in the middle of carving up, which is actually going to be a floating, sort of a floating island, and I have some other blocks that are going to go onto it here, right? I've carved up some stuff, and I'm going to put a little sword in there, sort of a sword and stone sort of thing but when it sort of a Games Workshop-y feel to it. I was kind of inspired by the whole, Arthurian legends. Plus, I was reading through the first book there, Phoenix Rising, for the Psychic Awakening, and looking for the crone swords, and one was missing. Just I got this inspiration of what it's put a sword in a stone and have it floating there, and cool thing to fight over, cool thing to be floating above your battlefield, some sort of Tzeentchian or Slaaneshi thing, or just some sort of magically intuned rock that's floating above a battlefield. It's pretty cool. I'm just working on basing it right now. Excuse me. The other cool thing. It's not super hobby related. It is in the grander scheme of hobby, in terms of it being, the general, everyone has a hobby, and this is really cool. It's a big reveal that came out. I'm just going to make sure I open it here so I don't mess it up. By none other than the one and only Rod Stewart. Now, if you've seen this, it's cool. If you haven't, I'm going to put a link down below to it. Rod Stewart, he's a huge musical act that's been around since, God, I don't know, the 70s, I think. Definitely in the 80s, 90s. He's Sir Rod Stewart. He's been knighted and all that. He did an interview on BBC Radio 2, and basically for the last 23 years. Now, this isn't completely related to our hobby of tabletop wargaming, but the last 23 years he's been building a super intricate model of a U.S. city for his railroad. So he does railroading. He builds little railroads. He's been doing it for 23 years. That's commitment. It was cool because he actually he's released 13 studio albums, just reading here, and been on 19 tours during the time it took to build the city, which is modeled in both New York and Chicago around 1945. So he actually brought this with him on his tours. It said there, I believe, somewhere that he actually, and the pictures are amazing. You guys got to check it out. It's fantastic. A lot of he's built himself. He's painted up. So there is that hobby building and painting aspect to it. The only thing I don't think he did was the electrical part of it. But he did everything from um, he's got skyscrapers, beaten warehouses, everything. It's up, it's down, there's cool buildings, rundown buildings. He's got boats in there, water, cars, the whole thing. He's actually featured in Railway Modeler, the book magazine for that. I've actually seen a few of those. They're pretty cool. It's a great place to get cool ideas for building your own train because it's really not that different. He took it on tour with him. The hotels that he went with apparently cleared out rooms so he could spread the stuff out and work on it between shows. He actually goes into, it's really cool. He goes into what he did here, right? He goes, you start off with gray, and then you add a little bit of concrete color, so every paving stone is slightly different. And the cracks have to have some black chalk, and then you add a little bit of rubbish in the gutters, you add a little bit of rust here and there. I enjoyed building more than I did the running. And that's true. I mean, we all like building. I mean, I like playing a lot, but sometimes just sitting there and building up a whole um battlefield is a reward in its own, right? We've all done that. Someone said else, this fellow musician said, when you get these big scale ones like Sir Rod's, they're like a work of art. The amazing paintings we create in 3 dimensions. They're like an amazing painting. That's really cool. That's awesome. I mean, I'm gonna put a link to this in the description. It's cool. I recommend you guys look over it just to see. And while yeah, it's not tabletop wargaming, it's really not that much different. He's created a table with an atmosphere and a character and a look to complement the actual trains, the running, the sort of the physical part of the hobby in terms of actually doing it. And that's what we do. We want tables that create an atmosphere, create character, tell a story, help us get lost in our imagination, get lost in the tabletop battle, right? So it looks cool. And this is exactly what he's doing. So, and this is one of the coolest things I've seen in a while. It's really cool. It's fantastic. And he says something here that I think we've all been through. A lot of people laugh at it being a silly hobby, but it's a wonderful hobby. And I know I've been through that. People going, you play with plastic miniatures? Like what? Like you're a grown man. What are you doing? You're building this fantastical terrain. It's so silly. It's immature. It's not. It's a hobby. It's obviously it's a hobby. It's built for everybody. It's a hobby that we, it's cathartic. It's a stress relief. It allows us to be creative. It allows us to interact with fellow gamers, fellow hobbyists. I have no problem with it. And it is. It's a wonderful hobby. What he's doing is a wonderful hobby. What we do is a wonderful hobby. It's cool. It's a very positive article about a guy. And man, this table, it is mind blowing. It is fantastic. He's got buildings, the train stations. I'm just looking at images. He's even painted on ads, old school 40s, painted on ads on the side of buildings. It's really cool. Wow. It's cool. It's really cool. Excuse me, guys. So I'm just doing this here. Now to get to the update part, what am I doing? Well, obviously with the new Faith and Fury stuff, I'm going to be getting out my Black Templars, seeing what I can do with them. I'm still working on my Space Marines. Still got this guy, my Space Marine hero, who's going to end up being a lieutenant for my 9th company to paint up. I've got an old school metal librarian that I'm going to paint up for the 9th company. I'm still slowly working on my aggressors. I'm still working on my Predator / Razorback repair job that I did. I have a drop pod to do, this terrain to paint up. So I do have some projects on the go for the next little while. Hopefully I'll be able to get them done sooner or later. This is the time of year where, unfortunately, with family, I say unfortunately, but it's not really unfortunate. I get to spend time with my family, my kids, which is great. But it's getting the Christmas season, so things kind of get really busy, a bit stressful. So unfortunately, I think December is going to be a very, very slow month. May not get much done. January, actually next year, I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to talk about this probably in December, do a video for it. But next year is a very, very important year for me uh, with my time in the hobby. I'm going to get more detail, but next year is going to be, I'm going to be trying to do some pretty cool stuff, get out there and do some stuff outside my comfort zone, try and do some videos. Really, it's going to be a big year for me. I'm hoping that's, fingers crossed, that's the hope. All right, well, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thank you very much for sitting through this. I really appreciate it. And to everybody, I don't say this enough, to everybody who's supported, has supported me and is continuing to support me, watches the videos, makes comments. I mean, there's a whole bunch of you. Idic Beer, he's always there for me. The Nerd Life Richard's always been helpful, always been an awesome guy. Mythos and Freak from Frost and Fist, those guys have always been in my corner. Nurgling, Super Wargamer, there's a whole ton of you. Wargamer Nick's been there too. Lots of guys, and you know these people. They're fantastic guys. Go support them. But I also want to say thank you to everybody who's taken time to watch my videos, to like, to leave a comment. It's been awesome. So thank you very much. I want to say that now. It's that time of year. We've had Canadian Thanksgiving. I think American Thanksgiving is coming up soon. I think. I don't know. I don't know when yours is. But and it's that time of year. We're getting into Christmas season. It just makes you think and look back to last year, and you guys have been awesome. It's my own little corner of the internet, my own little humble channel here. I have fun doing it, and you guys make it a joy to do. So thank you very much. As always, guys, I'll get off there in the sappy news. Keep rolling those dice, and I will see you later. Bye.